lessly in case of anyone found guilty. But as we're heading into this particular SMB Insight, just for you to remember, you can grow your investments with Zabu. Zabu is a platform by Altex East Africa, and it's giving you the advantage of investing in government bonds. Use the USSD code *292# and follow the prompts. Start today with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings and you grow your investments. Well, unfortunately, though, today is a public holiday and the markets will be fully closed, and so will they be over the weekends. But Monday to Friday on casual, normal working days, it is open from 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. for you to invest. But if you do not have an account yet, you can open up one by using your NIN, and in the next 24 hours, you'll be able to invest in government bonds. Well, Zabu, my money, my future, and it's powered by Altex East Africa, which does say, do something new today. And of course, what new thing can you think of? Invest in government bonds and securities. Now, our SMB Insight is basically looking and rotating around the issue to do with the Entebbe International Airport Saga, where most of the travelers have been accusing the workers there or the employees at the airport for bribing them before they actually take their flights, and some have actually reported cases of missing flights due to the same matter. But for the perspective of how the IGG has come into the same situation, let's see what next is coming up.
On the 9th of December 2022, while commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day, we declared this year's theme of fighting corruption to be citizens must own the war to eliminate corruption. It is their war. I think you know that. It was widely circulated. I'm very proud that the citizens have decided to own the war. I therefore want to use this occasion to call upon all Ugandans to join the war against corruption wherever you are. Don't accept, sorry for this word which I'm going to use, don't accept crap from public servants anymore. Ugandans are suffering to get land titles, to get IDs, to get permits of all sorts. People pay for all public services, for medicine in hospitals, for jobs when they qualify for them, for positions in school, for use of roads, for building permits. Ugandans are tired of paying for public services. So, I'm calling upon other citizens to say no to corruption, to emulate these young people, and record those vouchers for us, institutions that are mandated to fight corruptions. We have mandates, we have instruments of authority, which the population don't have. We can investigate, we can prosecute, we can summon, we can even arrest. So when you join a war like this one and join us, you identify the areas of corruption, and we use our mandate to support by prosecution, interdiction, and any other sanctions within our mandates. So I want to assure you that for us who go, I want to, using the example of what happened in Entebbe Airport, top government officials who go through the VIP channels never know what is happening there, because when you go there, you go through the VIP. When you go to the hospital or to any public institution, they receive you as a VIP, they pamper you, you get what you want, so you never get to know how the ordinary person is suffering, because government officials get the VIP treatment. But as I said, we have mandates to arrest, to summon, to investigate, to prosecute. So the partnership between the person will help, the ordinary citizen and us, will help us to perform our mandate by playing your part. I want to call upon citizens in this war to end corruption to expose by reporting to us government officials who have excessive wealth which is not commensurate with their known sources of income. That is where the proceeds of corruption go. It is manifested in excessive wealth which is not commensurate with people's known source of income. Report them to us. Take pictures of the suspect property. We shall investigate them, and if we prove that it was illicitly acquired, we shall prosecute them according to the Illicit Acquisition of Wealth Act or the Money Laundering Act. I also want to commend the Directorate of Immigration, Brigadier General Apollo Goa, who swiftly swung into action, responding to the people's cry and apprehended the culprits. If we continue with this momentum, we can redeem Uganda from corruption. As IG, we intend to work with all the affected institutions who apprehended the culprits to prosecute those who apprehended the culprits. It is not enough to sack them or to punish them, but they also need to be prosecuted. Indeed, over the last 5 years, the Inspectorate of Government has investigated 21 cases relating to Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. The Inspectorate recovered huge amounts of money from fraudulent procurement within the Civil Aviation Authority. That is an indication that there is a systemic problem in the authority. We are therefore going to do a systemic intervention to establish the reason for persistent corruption in the authority. We will then make recommendations or take the necessary action within the IG mandate. It is my belief that corruption in Uganda cannot be effectively addressed without functional systems that enable the general public to be actively involved in the process of promoting good governance and taking ownership of the fight against corruption. So while they are free to investigate, the IG is interested in the deeper issues, because what you saw happening in CAA is the tip of an iceberg. Under the water, under the ocean, there's a whole mass of solid ice. But what we saw is the tip of an iceberg. And as I said in my statement, for the last 5 years, the Inspectorate of Government has investigated the authority, CAA. So now, since the problem is not going away, we have decided to have a thorough investigation on the systemic issues that leads, because what happens at the end is a result of so much going on behind the table or behind the door. But I also like to take Omsenene Kajubi's question on immigration. It is the same thing, but still, for me, I wanted to concentrate on the power of the people when they get out. True, the problem has been going on, but it has never come out. The institutions have never come out as institutions to respond to the public outcry the way they did. So, immigration came out, CAA came out, but for us, we are going to go deeper and investigate and prosecute, because we have the powers of prosecution, of interdiction, of summoning people. So we want to really go deep into what is going on. There is so much going on in this country. It's actually a pandemic in this country, which needs almost, what do they call it? What happened the other time when there was a pandemic? A pandemic? A lockdown. I think it's almost a pandemic that we really need a lockdown to deal with this pandemic. But for me, the purpose of this press conference was to applaud the people who said no and came out and call upon everybody else. We told you, I've told the public many times, don't accept crap from public servants. You pay them. You go to the Ministry of Lands. For years, you are chasing a title. It is not coming through. Come today, come tomorrow, pay money. Now you know what to do. Don't accept it. Take their picture and bring it, that person. A man on the road, he wants some money, don't give him the money. Take his picture. Because one of the real problems that we had was lack of evidence. But where there's evidence, it gives us an excellent start. And people who are even willing to give evidence in court. The problem, the biggest issue with the corruption and whistleblowers was lack of evidence that can stand up in court. But when there's evidence, like we saw, it is easy for a case to stand in court during prosecution. They're investigating people. And the information they're getting is from whistleblowers. They say, so and so, my neighbor here, the man got a job, not even a high-ranking job with government, but he has bought the whole village, he's building a mansion here, he has 3 wives, each wife with a house, and each wife with a... What? And we're getting it from people. And they're leading somewhere. So, yes, any kind of information is good, if only to put scare in the minds of the people, to know that people are watching and people are getting involved now. And even it's a mindset change. Previously, if you're building a house and your mother just started working 6 months ago, they think you're very smart. They start calling you Muzei. They start calling you boss because you got a job 1 year ago and you are building so many buildings. But now, we are working on a mindset change. People should ask, how are you able to do it? How are you able to do it? You're a public officer. That is the leadership code. You must be accountable to the community, not only your bosses, but to the people as well. So it's a mindset. Many things are happening, including the mindset change. But the problem is not only for the IGG, it's a national, even a world problem. The problem is not so much the resources as the volume of work. The volume of work. If you can bring down corruption, even the resources will come down. But as I said, we need strategies, to work on better strategies. And one of the strategies that we came up with as the Inspectorate of Government is to communicate with the people. Rather than communicating with the technocrats in conferences and conventions and whatever, we are now talking to the people to get involved. And as I said in my statement, what resources were needed at Entebbe to unearth that thing and bring it to the public, to be at the forefront of public attention. The only resources that were required was sheer willpower of the person to say no, enough is enough. It's a powerful resource, and that's why we call this press conference.
And of course, there is discussions in there for the details to do with the Entebbe International Airport corruption saga, especially for those who are actually working there, or the employees that are attached to the airport. Civil Aviation Authority, together with the Inspectorate of Government, are working in hand to make sure they bring to bed these issues here, and as well as the 21 cases that are under investigations at the airport. Well, besides that, now I'm joined by Pedersen Mumbere, as we, among other things, are going to be discussing the 37-year rule of the NRM government, and also entirely looking at the economic growth and stability together with the development levels with the NRM government. Pedersen, many thanks for joining us this morning.
You're welcome, Sonko.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing well, I should say, a bit fair.
Okay.
But yeah.
So today we like government NRM is going to celebrate 37 years since it came into power, 9th January in 86.
Yes.
So today they are going to have their celebration in Kakumiri district. That's where those celebrations are going to be. But when he was at Uganda Media Center, that's the Minister of ICT, Kabyanga Balu, was like, there are very many issues they have reached on ever since they came to power. Kabyanga is also part of the NRM government. And it was like, the biggest thing they have achieved in the 37 years, security, peace and security. And this is what they promised us, by the way, before. And also NRM, before it came to power, it promised to revamp the economy, this economy, transform the economy, revamp the economy, which had collapsed just because of black market. This is one of the things that they promised us. So at the moment, we are now seeing some changes there. We are not saying they have done it a lot, you get. But at least you take your steps little, small, you'll find that there are some things that they have done at the moment. But still the minister was like, they are working on issues of fighting poverty. Okay. That's why they come up with this program, perishable model. It's one way of fighting poverty. It is their program, their government program that is brought over. So, celebrating their 37 years is important for them and for the followers and for some few Ugandans who think they have done the good work. Of course, there are those who think they have not done, they've done nothing. Remember, we have opposition.
Yes, the government hasn't done anything.
Yes. So when you look at the economic transformation of Uganda ever since they took power, maybe there's some footsteps, there's something they have done. Yeah, because okay, now let's concentrate about peace and security, because it is through security that businesses will thrive. Because here at Smart we speak business.
Yes.
It is through security and peace that business will do what?
Will thrive.
Now, let me give you an example. By then I'm a UP product. I did not see the war that took place in my place. In Renzori, that place has been so yeah.
Okay.
There was ADF. Remember, ADF were there terrorizing, and up to date, ADF is still part of Congo.
Yeah.
But now, this government went there, fought against those people,
creating some peace.
Yes.
And
then businesses started
picking up.
up to date. That one is a plus. You can give them
A plus for that
for
particular
the NRM. For the NRM.
Okay.
That's a plus. Now, let us come to health-wise. I remember when I was young, my uncle told me that they used to die because my grandfather lost 7 children. My grandfather. By the time he married, then the firstborn died of measles, secondborn died of measles. 7. My father is among the last. So, why did they die of measles? There was no what?
Medication.
At least, I don't want to say that we have medication ready in the hospital at the moment to that level, or plenty.
Yes.
But at least
There is some change.
some change. And then you can imagine, person losing 6 children. You get
Due to lack of medical supplies.
at that time. But this time, people are producing, even the babies are producing babies. You get, babies are producing babies. So that one is a plus. You can give it. Some. You're not supposed to be biased every time. There are some achievements that they have reached on. However, the Minister of ICT says they're still working on the issues of poverty. Poverty is there, they admit poverty is there, and some other things are still failing them. Somehow they're also working on them. Let us come to infrastructure. Some roads have been constructed, though some others have been constructed. But now, this is what the opposition also asking themselves. In the 37 years you've been around, are these the only achievements got? You're supposed to have achieved more than you. They're supposed to have achieved more than they have achieved at this in the period of 37 years. But of course, these are the views of different. So today they're in Kakumiro. They are enjoying. They are going to celebrate their 37 years emphasis. They took power. So we are watching from there today. So since we speak business, we say, okay, let us see what they're going to tell us.
What next is coming up? But when you look at the 37 years of the NRM government, one of the key things that the opposition does hint on, I believe the only problem with the opposition is always covering it up with delay in power. Delay in power. That is the only sign of it. That is why if they will have to undermine every little achievement. But let's look at the struggle to end corruption. Sometimes you get to realize that however much the government is trying, but those within the government are making it really hard to come to an end.
The fight against corruption is a big one. Yesterday, I was at the IGG's office. And he was analyzing very many things, and we asked her very many things. She's saying she has tried, but she's being constrained by lack of resources at her roles, fighting against corruption. Fighting corruption is not. We asked her, why always you're saying you're fighting corruption, but there are two words. The big fish and the small fish. But the big fish are not ending up in the net. Why?
Okay.
Yeah? Why? And people are beginning to doubt. Because corruption is costing this country a lot. There's corruption, then that means there's lack of service delivery. Service delivery will be lacking in. So it's like every time you try to fight corruption, but people who end up in your nets are small fish, not the big fish.
Okay.
And that was the biggest problem. But still, she had a reason to fight for herself, and then she was like, though all those things end like that, but we still try because there's some money that they have saved out of corruption. You get, they have saved some amount of money out over, is it what trillion something has been saved out of corruption. So, our country, the fight against corruption is not just something that we can back on and then we end it tomorrow, because truth is, there are those even in government who are more corrupt. Biggest problem is in government. That's according to her words. That's according to some of the reports that have been released. You read the Auditor General's report. You know the amount of money we are losing because of corruption. So It is within. It is a chronic disease that we are facing in the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, as Pedersen has actually been highlighting, some of the achievements that maybe the opposition would never show you is that there's been a lot. I'm also a beneficiary of the government schools program of at least USE, the Universal Secondary Education.
Yeah.
And I can pick onto that and as well add on to the issue of security. Which has been a fundamental one by the government.
Yeah.
Well, of course, corruption has been one of those that is hindering development.
Yes.
But clearly, 37 years have not been too bad of a rule. Maybe if at all people just want a new face in power. But nevertheless, we are still strolling with the NRM government for now. After the break, we shall be going in with Bariji Andrew to give us more details with the SMB on ground. Many thanks, Pedersen Mumbere, for that insightful discussion. We'll be right back.